important thing is that we've got everything ready to go. So you've got your glue, we've got the paint roller, if you want to pass me that, Jacob. Okay, we've got the paint roller there. We've got our clamp ready for the bag. The bag's all set up. This is all lined up. This is going to go on top of the boards when it goes inside the bag. And then we've got 2 vacuums ready to go. We've got our shop vac, which we're going to use for the initial pulling all the main bulk of the air out of the bag. And then we're going to use this small, high pressure but low volume pump to bring it up to a good pressure for getting the clamping system working well. Okay, so that has to get plugged in after. I'm going to plug this one in now, so we're ready to go. And that's the key, because once we start putting the glue on, the clock is ticking, right? We don't want to waste a lot of time. So, Jacob, if you pass me your board first, and then do you know which is the top veneer and which one's the bottom veneer?
This is the bottom.
That's the bottom. So we always do the bottom one first, because it's the one that if we end up with any little glue bubbles or air bubbles, we can live with that on the bottom side, right? And when we do our gluing, that's the side, if we put that on first, it's going to be sitting for a couple extra minutes while we're gluing the top side on. So it's going to start, deforming, because the veneer is thin and the moisture is going to start making it expand, right, from the glue. So we want to do that one first, because if it gets any deformities, we can live with it. The top one we want to be perfect, okay? Pass me the other veneer, we'll put it over here. So when we do the gluing, we just pour it right out of the jug. The clock isn't ticking yet. It's only once the veneer goes on this first side that the clock starts ticking. We put more on the first time because the roller is going to absorb a bunch of it, okay? So the second time, we'll put less glue on. And I probably put a little bit too much on here, but that's okay. I'll show you what to do, whether it's too much or too little. So for example, right now, if we look at this, obviously that is way too much glue in one spot. Down here, that's not enough. It's too thin, okay? And right in here, that's about right. Okay, so we kind of go with the idea of kind of like spilled milk on the floor. So that it's we want it to be even, consistent, everywhere. We focus on these edges, making sure the edges get lots of coverage, right? They're not dry in any spot, because that's where the veneer is going to peel up most. But you can see I've got kind of a puddle in the center here, and I know I'm not going to be able to spread that around. So what we can do is, I'm just going to steal from one of these little scraps of veneer here. If we've got too much on there, I mean, we try not to do that because it wastes all the glue, but we can always pull some off in the garbage, okay? And then spread it around. Obviously, if you don't have enough, you just add more from the jug, right? That's easy enough. So better to err on the side of too little. Again, I put too much, and I'm going to take a little bit more off again, just to get it. I want it to be just right, and especially on that bottom one. I don't want to have too much on there. Okay, and that's still a little heavy, but I know that that's going to work out fine. So then the bottom one goes on. Make sure you're putting the grain parallel to the edges. Okay, and Jacob's done a good job making sure this is all trimmed down to approximately the right size. The ends are okay because they're going to get trimmed off on the table saw later before we put the end caps on. Okay, flip it over. Now the clock is ticking. Make sure it's clean, that there's no debris on there that's going to telegraph through the veneer. And again, less glue this time because the roller's already, it's kind of a messy job, but the roller's already got glue in it. So we're going to move this glue around. And there's no point in rushing. We just want to be efficient with our time. We don't need to go crazy here, because that's when you just make mistakes, right? Forget to do something. Right? You can see that I've got a little bit heavy there. I'm going to move that around. Where it's a bit thin over here, I try to push it to that side. Distribute it evenly. So even coverage is the most important factor. And making sure we got all those edges nicely covered. Everybody see that? That's like perfect. Once in a while I do something right. Get that on there. Okay, and then as soon as possible we want this to get inside the bag with pressure. So we'll get this out of the way. The clamping caul needs to go on top. And we need to have just a little bit of overhang all the way around. So position it so that we have the best best coverage, okay? And Matthias, can you open the bag for me, right in the middle there? So it makes it easy. When you put this in, don't slide it on that white thing, because those little grooves will catch the veneer. Lift it in and then place it, okay? So now, working as efficiently as we can, we're gonna do up these snaps on this end. Slide the white tube in. Put the black clamp on top of that. Okay, and then our shop vac, we're going to use this to pull all the air out nice and quick, but it won't take it to pressure. Can you hold that for me, Matthias? So then I plug in the other pump. This looks like we've got most of the air out of here. So I'm going to count to 3 and we're going to swap it, okay? 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then the last thing we do on here, when we have a quick look, make sure everything's looking good. You know, that I like using that tube vacuum system so that we get all that air out quick. This one will take forever to pull that big volume out. And then this is Jacob's. We're gonna write his name on there. It would be even better if he had his name on the board, on the tape, like Tyler's got her name on the tape there. That's okay, this is gonna be here. We put it in at 12:30. It needs to stay in there until 1:30. So we leave that on there so everybody knows, don't touch it until then. The pump stays running the whole time, it's a continuous run pump. And then the last thing, it's Jacob's job now, he's gonna do a really good cleanup. That roller needs to be cleaned thoroughly in the sink with warm water, okay? Get all the glue out of it so that it's ready for whoever's coming tomorrow to do it. Clean up any glue on the bag if you can, and then same on this jug, make sure the lid's on better than I put it on, and then that goes in the B cabinet, so it's ready for good finds tomorrow. Any questions?
Nope.